Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from our friends at the Southwest TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Monday at noon, 3 and 6 p.m. and again is re-aired later throughout the weekend with the other weekday broadcast replays. Today is May 14th, 2018, and now the news at noon.
According to the Cortez Journal, with a photo from the Montezuma County Sheriff's Office, during an arraignment on Thursday, District Court Judge Doug Walker set a trial date for September 4th. The trial is expected to last up to 3 weeks, with the first week likely needed to pick a jury. Folsom's public defender Barry Neuberger King had requested the arraignment be delayed because defense needed time for further investigation, but the request was not granted. At an April 6th court appearance, Neuberger King reported that prosecutors offered Folsom a plea deal, but it hasn't been accepted. The details of the offer were not released, but first said the trial date does not close the door on a plea agreement. Walker said prosecution has 21 days to announce whether they will seek the death penalty. Attorneys have until June 30th to file motions, and hearings were set for July 30th and 31st at 9 a.m. A pretrial conference is scheduled for August 16th at 11 a.m.
From the Journal, photo credit Jim Mimiaga. Two companies have recently expressed interest in exploring building a pump-back hydroelectric power facility at McPhee Reservoir. Pump-back storage systems utilize two reservoirs at different elevations. To generate power, water is released from the upper reservoir to the lower, powering a turbine on the way down that is connected to the grid. In 2014, the Dolores Water Conservancy District released an investor's memorandum on the potential for a project at Plateau Creek to inform energy companies and investors of the opportunity. The canyon's steep vertical drop in a short distance makes it a good location. District General Manager Mike Preston, speaking at last Thursday's board meeting, described pump-back storage plant idea as a giant battery that is part of a green energy power grid. When electric prices are high, the water is released from the upper reservoir through a turbine and the power is sold to the grid to meet demand. When electric prices are low, the water is pumped back to the upper reservoir through a tunnel, recharging the battery. Preston recently toured the Plateau Creek site by plane with Carol Borquist, president of Absaroka Energy of Montana. The company proposed to build a pump-back hydroelectric facility at Gordon Butte, northwest of Billings, Montana. The Dolores Water Conservancy District holds the water rights for the potential Plateau Creek project, estimated to cost $1 billion based on the 2014 study. It would require environmental reviews and approval because it would be on San Juan National Forest land. McPhee could be used as the lower reservoir, with a small reservoir built above Plateau Canyon. The project needs investors before it could get off the ground, but once online, it would generate an estimated $100 million per year in electricity sales. As the holder of the water rights, the district could benefit financially from the deal. We have the site, and if we could realize a revenue stream, it would help the district financially, Preston said. Shortly after Absaroka Energy visit, the district received a letter from Matthew Shapiro, CEO of GridFlex Energy, based in Boise, Idaho, expressing interest in exploring a pump-back storage system at McPhee. We recently developed a concept for this site, and that district may not have considered before, so one which we believe which would have greater viability than the prior concept, he stated. We believe that the timing for this particular project is promising. Pump-back hydroelectric storage is considered a non-consumptive green energy power source. Energy companies are potential investors in hydro projects as they expand their portfolios to include green energy. They need supplemental sources to meet demand when the sun does not shine or the wind doesn't blow. Not here, huh? The Dolores Water Conservancy District had obtained a preliminary permit for a facility at Plateau Creek from the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, but it was not renewed in 2016 because the project had not moved forward enough.
According to the Cortez Journal, with a photo of Zinc, one of three men accused of sexually assaulting a woman in October pleaded guilty Friday to 1 count of felony assault with a deadly weapon and 2 counts of attempted sexual assault. A second man pleaded not guilty Friday and set his case for trial. James Zink, age 19, is scheduled to be sentenced August 9th in District Court in La Plata County. He faces a minimum of 10 to 16 years in prison after signing a plea agreement with the 6th Judicial District Attorney's Office in Durango. He also faces 10 years on probation upon his release. A violation of probation could result in up to 12 years in prison. Zink is one of 3 men accused of sexually assaulting a woman at gunpoint on October 14th in Durango. The 2 other men, Devin Ducky Bond, age 21, and Anthony Izzy Fitz, age 19, also appeared before 6th Judicial District Court Judge William Herringer on Friday. Bond pleaded not guilty to 6 charges, including felony sexual assault. He is scheduled for a 5-day trial to begin October 1st, with a motions hearing set for July 9th. Fitz requested a continuance of arraignment and is expected to enter a plea on June 8th. Zink also pleaded guilty Friday to a violation of bail conditions for going to 2 bars in Durango. Ann Wood, Zink's defense lawyer, asked the court to set new bail in the case, saying Zink is not a flight risk or a threat to the community. Herringer denied the request.
From the Journal, Photojournal Files. Hemp is gaining legitimacy in Colorado and federally, despite resistance from the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency. Industrial hemp is a genetic cousin of marijuana, but without the psychoactive ingredients. It is grown commercially for many products, including textiles, fuel, food, paper, construction materials, and medicines. Colorado voted to legalize hemp along with marijuana in 2012 under Amendment 64. The state has also since passed additional laws in support of hemp, including one bill that was signed in Cortez last year. Permits to grow hemp are issued by the Colorado Department of Agriculture and are increasing. So far, 12 permits have been issued in Montezuma County, 12 in La Plata County, and 3 in San Miguel County. Statewide, 850 permits to grow hemp have been issued, with a total of 22,000 acres in production, plus 3.8 million square feet of indoors. That's up from 131 permits issued in 2014 to grow 1,811 acres, according to the Colorado Department of Agriculture. Crops are tested to ensure they do not exceed 0.3% of tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC. The psychoactive THC ingredient in marijuana ranges from 5 to 25% concentration. A vexing problem for hemp growers is that the plant is considered illegal at the federal level under the Controlled Substances Act. Hemp and marijuana are vastly different, but they both fall under the cannabis family, which is prohibited as a banned Schedule I drug, the most dangerous category, which also includes heroin, ecstasy, and LSD. Cannabinoids, or CBD, are promising medicines derived from hemp flowers and have high market value for farmers and producers. CBD is especially effective at treating and reducing seizures without mental impairment. But the DEA has labeled the CBD hemp extract as a prohibited drug under federal law because it is derived from a cannabis plant. The hemp industry launched a legal challenge in 2016, and a federal appeals court recently ruled in favor of the DEA's assertion that CBD is an illegal drug federally. According to Hemp Industry Daily, the ruling means that hemp producers can only sell CBD in states where it is allowed, limiting the product's market. The appeals court upheld the 2014 Farm Bill provision allowing hemp to be grown for research purposes in states that have legalized it. But the Court of Appeals decisions supporting the DEA will become moot if Congress passes the Hemp Farming Act of 2018. The bill would remove hemp from the Controlled Substance Act and allow it to be regulated in all 50 states as an agricultural commodity. The bill, introduced by Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Republican from Kentucky, is also co-sponsored by Colorado's U.S. Senators Democrat Michael Bennet and Republican Cory Gardner. The legislation would give states the opportunity to become the primary regulators of hemp, allow hemp researchers to apply for competitive federal grants from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, ensure growers in the West can access water, and make hemp farmers eligible to apply for crop insurance. Removing industrial hemp from the Controlled Substance Act is a common sense move which would create jobs and get the government out of the way of Colorado's farmers and agricultural industry. Gardner said hemp has the potential to be a major boon to Colorado agriculture, giving farmers another profitable option for their fields. Colorado has recently passed additional hemp legislation to further encourage growers and in support of the proposed Hemp Farming Act, said Colorado Senator Don Coram, Representative Republican from Montrose. I think the problem of hemp being listed as illegal federally is about to go away, he said Wednesday. The only roadblock has been the federal status of being a Schedule I substance. The Colorado legislature passed a bill this session specifically designating industrial hemp as an agricultural product within the Commodity Handler and Farm Products Act. In May of 2017, Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper signed a bill at Cortez City Hall that affirmed hemp growers' right to use their water rights, including those from federal facilities such as McPhee Reservoir, to grow their crop. The bill was in response to an earlier Bureau of Reclamation policy that warned hemp growers against using water stored in federal projects because the plant was federally illegal. The Southwest Colorado Research Center in Yellow Jacket plans to continue growing experimental plots of hemp under the Farm Bill provision, said manager Katie Russell. There has been considerable interest locally in hemp, she said. We want to hone in on the best management and varieties for this area's unique climate and elevation.
According to the Cortez Journal with a Durango Herald file photo, a 5-year-old girl was hospitalized with serious injuries in St. Mary's Hospital in Grand Junction after a bear attack outside her home in East Orchard Mesa above the Colorado River corridor, Colorado Parks and Wildlife said. The girl's mother told CPW officers she heard screaming about 2:30 a.m. Sunday, and when she went outside to investigate, she saw a large black bear dragging her daughter. She said the bear dropped the girl after she began screaming at the animal, CPW said. The girl had gone outside to investigate noises related to her dog, her mother said. Colorado Parks and Wildlife officers were tracking the bear with the aid of Federal Wildlife Services personnel on Sunday as of 5 p.m. CPW said that it failed to find the bear but set 3 traps in the area. If captured, the bear will be destroyed and the carcass will be sent to the CPW Wildlife Health Laboratory in Fort Collins. CPW would not release or confirm the name of the victim or identity of the family. Local residents were advised that they might see law enforcement and hounds in the area. And now let's take a look at the weather.
The National Weather Outlook shows a high-pressure ridge keeping the Pacific Northwest dry, and a series of low-pressure systems bringing rain and thunderstorms to northern California, Nevada, and into Utah, where the higher elevations of the Intermountain Rockies are changing that precipitation into snow. We're also taking a look at the dry Four Corners area. It's still hot all the way back down into the southwest. And then showers and thunderstorm opportunities continue across most of the rest of the country, while the large yellow hatched area from Texas all across the Rust Belt is bringing more severe thunderstorms with significant flash flooding possible. Regionally, isolated weak thunderstorms are expected later this afternoon and evening over the mountains of northeast Utah and western Colorado north of Interstate 70. Isolated afternoon and evening thunderstorms are possible each afternoon and evening through Thursday, but those remain mainly north of Interstate 70. The chance of afternoon and evening thunderstorms will increase Friday through the weekend, with storms focused again on areas north of Moab and Montrose. So our Four Corners region stays dry and in the extreme D4 level drought for the foreseeable future. On our DCTV Local 5-day outlook, today sunny with a high near 67 degrees, south-southwest winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tonight clear with a low around 43, south-southwest winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming east in the evening. And once again, I hate to repeat, they are indicating winds could gust as high as 20 miles an hour, but that seems like nothing compared to the horrible winds we had over the past 5 days or so. Tuesday we hit sunny with a high near 73, southeast winds 5 to 15 miles an hour, becoming south-southwest in the afternoon. Tuesday night clear with a low around 42. South-southwest winds remain at 5 to 15 miles an hour, becoming east-southeast after midnight. Then Wednesday sunny, warms up to a high near 77. Southeast winds 5 to 15 miles an hour, becoming south-southwest in the afternoon. Wednesday night clear with a low around 45. Thursday sunny with a high near 76 and breezy. Thursday night mostly clear with a low around 45. Friday sunny with a high near 74 degrees, partly cloudy in the nighttime with a low around 43. Saturday mostly sunny with a high near 74, and Saturday night partly cloudy with a low around 46. Now back to the news.
Reported by the Cortez Journal with a photo by Jerry McBride with the Herald. The snowpack of the San Juan Mountains face an increasingly alarming problem that may further vex water issues in the West: dust. As more demands are placed on water, more scientific research has been done to understand the effects of windborne dust from nearby deserts settling on the snowpack on the southwest Colorado high country. Early findings aren't good. In 2003, water districts throughout Colorado concerned about the issue put funding toward the creation of the Center for Snow and Avalanche Studies, which, among other tasks, researches the effects of dust on snow. While the impacts of dust deposited on snowpack can be found in other parts of Colorado, the southwest part of the state, and the San Juan Mountains in particular, are by far the most troubled by the issue. In southwest Colorado, here's how it works. Windstorms out of the southwest pick up dust from deserts in parts of the Navajo Nation in northern Arizona and New Mexico and carry it to the mountain snowpack in the high country of the San Juan Mountains. When dust lands on snowpack, it speeds up the rate snow melts. Think how much hotter a black car is than a white car, Straub said. On average, this process causes snowpack to melt off 25 to 50 days earlier than normal based on about 100 years worth of data. And runoff can decrease by 5% because of water evaporating through plants and soils as well as snow turning to water vapor. Naturally, this causes issues for water districts in timing dam releases for ranchers, and it causes the loss of water supply for the Colorado River Basin, which supports more than 40 million people and millions of acres of agriculture. In a study published in October 2010 for the Pacific Institute for Studies in Development, Environment, and Security, researchers painted a grim outlook if the issue went unchecked.
From the Durango Herald, photo credit Alex Simandi. A strong wind was the only deterrent disrupting visitors from enjoying their time at the opening of the Durango Farmers Market on this past Saturday. The market, which occurs 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. every Saturday in the parking lot of the First National Bank, featured 42 vendors and performances from the Patrick Crossing Celtic Band and the Durango Shimmy Mob. I heard a number of people say that was one of the best market openings they've ever seen, market manager Melanie McKinney-Gonzalez said. Vendors were busy the entirety of the 4-hour time period as people wandered from booth to booth as they perused the market. Many farmers have been concerned about their crops this year because of the dry weather conditions, but the season has been pretty mellow so far, Tyler Hoyt of Green Table Farms said. Rachel Bennett, co-owner of Solvita Kombucha in Durango, participated intermittently in the farmers market last year and plans to have a booth at both the Durango and Telluride farmers markets all summer long. Solvita Kombucha brews craft kombucha, a fermented sweet tea using all organic ingredients. Bennett's company is a wholesale distributor and uses the farmers market to make a personal connection with customers. Farmers weren't the only ones who had booths at the market, as there were a number of artisan vendors as well. One such booth was Vanna Soap, a local company that makes handmade artisan soaps with locally sourced ingredients. Locals enjoyed the opportunity to purchase vegetables and socialize with friends. And from the Cortez Journal, photo Sam Green, fewer vendors have signed up for this year's Cortez Farmers Market, but its organizers still hope for a busy summer. The organizing committee approved its preliminary list of vendors for the 45th annual market this past Friday. Several longtime market staples are returning, like Berto Farm, the Pie Maker, and Fury's Funny Farm, and a few farmers and artisans will be selling their wares for the first time. This market opens June 2nd and will run through October 27th. Last year's market opened with 42 vendors signed up. This year only has 36 vendors applied, so there will be still some spots available. A few of last year's vendors, including longtime participant The Bee Tree, have chosen not to return this year. Committee members said some of the vendors have moved out of the area and some have decided to sell at the Durango Farmers Market instead of Cortez. New vendors include Botanical Companions, an organic grower from Mancos, Cortez beef producer Paisley Soul, Chimera Art Collective, a Cortez-based art and jewelry group, and the Mancos-based Terra Santa Farm, partly owned by Lori Hale of the Farm Bistro. Produce vendors typically don't come to the market until later in the season, but Sutton said she believes this year's warm weather could bring some fruits and vegetables earlier than usual. Drought conditions could have worse effects on produce vendors, though. Committee member and longtime vendor Moki Mustaine Fury said water restrictions have already affected her McElmo Canyon farm. As always, the market will feature live music every week from local artists, starting with Michael Canzona on June 2nd. KRTZ Radio will also broadcast live from the first day of the market. Cortez Public Library staff will provide story time for kids starting at 9:30 a.m. each Saturday. The market also features a community booth for local nonprofits. The farmers market will be open from 7:30 to 11 a.m. or whenever vendors sell out. Vendors will accept food stamps and debit cards, although purchase with the latter comes with a $2 fee. It's located at the Montezuma County Building on 109 West Main Street. And stay tuned for updates on the reopening of the Dolores County Farmers Market in Dove Creek, also hopefully starting in June.
According to the Durango Herald, Colorado finally received approval for its federally mandated education plan Monday, 1 year and 2 revisions after the state first submitted it. Colorado's plan was held up longer than any other state's by a series of disagreements over the best way to measure student achievement, including how to count students who opt out of state assessments. In most of those disagreements, the federal view prevailed, leaving Colorado with 2 divergent accountability systems, one state and one federal. Colorado wanted to use its state accountability system developed in 2009 to meet federal requirements, but ultimately the two were not entirely compatible. The state accountability system is more likely to identify schools that are not serving a large share of their students, while the federal system flags schools that aren't serving certain subgroups, like students who qualify for free and reduced price lunch, a proxy for poverty, or English language learners, even if their overall numbers look good. Educational and civil rights advocates who have been involved in the development of the plan say that it's improved in some ways, but they're concerned about the existence of two accountability systems, or three in the case of districts like Denver that have their own school ratings, will lead to more confusion unless there's a clear way of sharing information with parents.
From the Durango Herald, a report by Andrew Guilford, courtesy photos along with Kyle Bauman and Friends of Cedar Mesa photo credits. Downtown Durango thrives because buildings get recycled. Former car dealerships are now brew pubs and office buildings. The historic electric power plant is the Powerhouse Science Center, and a decades-old tire repair shop has evolved into an upbeat gym and fitness center. Durangotangs know how to recycle commercial buildings, so do Bluffoons. In the small desert town of Bluff, Utah, they are experiencing a canyon country renaissance. A dozen new tourist cabins are going up, a 54-unit resort is being built, a former trading post is a thriving restaurant, and the old Silver Dollar bar, built in 1955, has found new life as the forthcoming Bears Ears Education Center. Bluff is on the southern end of the controversial Bears Ears National Monument, and local residents, Bluffoons, are proud of it. The town just incorporated. This summer, it'll have a mayor and city council, and the Silver Dollar bar, once home to beer and burgers, will serve up tourist information and cautionary comments about desert hiking and visiting archaeological sites with respect. Recently purchased by the Friends of Cedar Mesa, the Silver Dollar bar once catered to sheep herders, truckers, uranium miners, and just whoever came down the road, says 84-year-old Duke Simpson. There was all kinds of people who came to Bluff over the years, he said. The Silver Dollar catered to locals and the occasional tourist willing to risk dusty, dry roads to get to Bluff. Everyone going through Bluff just kept going, remembers Bureau of Land Management River Ranger Larry Beck. A few river runners stopped in, but it was lonely at the counter. Often only me and the bartender. I used to walk to the bar and then walk home. I like to joke that when I left Bluff, that poor bar might go out of business with my departure. And that was back in the 1980s. Over the years, Bluff's 3 bars disappeared as restaurants developed to serve beer and wine. The tourists passing through are now staying. Bluff is emerging as a vital destination between the Grand Canyon, with its 5 million annual visitors, and Arches and Canyonlands National Parks with 2 million tourists. National monument status for Bears Ears, even with President Donald Trump shrinking it by 85%, has brought a whole new generation of canyon country hikers, trying to avoid crowds and trying to find wilderness values of silence, solitude, and darkness. But there's no information center, no local source of maps, directions, suggestions, though the San Juan Record reports that visitation to BLM lands in southeastern Utah is up 35%. To the north of Monticello, on its new campus, the Canyon Country Discovery Center orients travelers to the entire Colorado Plateau. The BLM has an office in town, but no place to host displays or to engage visitors. In Blanding, the Edge of the Cedars Museum and State Park does a superb job of interpreting ancestral Puebloan artifacts and engaging exhibits on historic and prehistoric themes, but it functions as a museum, not as a public lands visitor center. Up on Cedar Mesa, volunteers at the Cane Gulch Ranger Station do their best to answer questions, but in their small space, they are frequently swamped. So the Friends of Cedar Mesa are raising funds and donated labor to do what the federal government does not have the budget or the staffing to accomplish. In true Western fashion, the outside of the building facing the highway has glass block walls so patrons inside could not be seen. Most laborers in working west heading to a bar had spent plenty of time outside, so the last thing they wanted was a window with a view. They wanted to see cold beer and an array of whiskey bottles. At the old Silver Dollar, the bar is still there, as is the back bar with its wooden drawers and refrigerated cases. Over the years, the Silver Dollar became a private residence with the nickname of the Not a Bar, or Not a Bar, and children and adults playfully placed painted handprints all over the ceiling and front of the bar. The 3,800 square foot building on 0.43 acres is being transformed, as is Bluff itself. Extra rooms will become office spaces, meeting spaces, and staff living quarters. There'll be outdoor patios, courtyards, and parking in the back. The goal for the project is $840,000 for the building purchase, renovations, bathroom and electrical upgrades, solar installations, and staff salaries for a 3-year startup period. Friends of Cedar Mesa have raised $600,000, with $100,000 coming from outdoor supplier North Face. We are extremely grateful and excited to have received such broad support for our efforts to create the Bears Ears Education Center, says Vaughn Hadenfeld, board president and local guide. So stop in and watch the transformation. If you can, swing a hammer or apply a paintbrush. Writing checks to Friends of Cedar Mesa is useful too, they said. I hope the potlucks and the parties continue, they said. And stay tuned to DCTV for an announcement forthcoming from the Dove Creek Chamber of Commerce as plans to offer tourist and traveler information and a stopping shop to introduce visitors to what's happening in and around Dove Creek and Dolores County is soon to be released.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of May 7th through the 13th. Resident reported vandalism of flowers at Weber Park. It is under investigation. Report of a dangerous dog attacking other dogs. Summons for dangerous dog was written. Sheriff's deputy unlocked a vehicle at the dinner bell. That concludes today's roundup. Stay tuned for continued updates.
And today's High Canyon Country happenings. Saturday, May 19th, it's McElmo Music Fest, hosted by the Battle Rock Charter School from 3 to 6 p.m. in Cortez. The 15th annual McElmo Music Fest celebrates local music. Musicians gather for an evening of relaxation and fun. The evening is hosted by Battle Rock Charter School as a benefit for the Playscape Fund. Bring a potluck dish or BR parents will be selling Navajo tacos. There's no entrance fee. Donations to the school's Playscape Fund are appreciated and welcome. Bring your own chair. Saturday the 19th, also come hear the former editor-in-chief of Organic Gardener magazine and the host of the syndicated NPR radio show You Bet Your Garden. Talk on the 7 secrets to successful organic gardening at a special presentation at the Sunflower Theater in Cortez. It runs from 5 to 6:30 p.m. For more details, visit sunflowertheater.org. And Saturday, May 19th, the Dove Creek Memorial May Community Barbecue event starts at 11:30 a.m. and runs till 2 p.m. Hosted by the VFW, Auxiliary, and the Dove Creek Chamber of Commerce. Celebrate the selection of the Post 5181 as part of the National Tour of Honor event, the post renovations, and the unveiling of the welcome banner set up behind the howitzer. It's free and open to all. Donations are welcome to support our area first responders. Come out and enjoy some food. Take a moment to pay respects for all those who have served as we celebrate Memorial May Day. For more details or to coordinate if you'd like to donate a side dish, contact the DC Chamber at 970-560-2856. All of these happenings are posted on the DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, email us dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119 and we'll be sure to get your news on air.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and then is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. on each of those days. The weekday news shows are then replayed throughout the weekend as well.
And again, be sure to check us out on social media. Our Facebook page is DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.